If we take a wider look at all of this, you can see I'm standing here. I'm about 5'9", and the peak of all of this is about 9 to 10 feet tall. This is one of 3 gates at the fair this year. When you go through the gates, you're going to be stepping through some metal detectors just like this one. She's going to push us forward a little bit. Go ahead and push us forward, Mary. She's been out here all morning helping get donations. The latest count shows they have 188,000 pounds of food. All of the packages you see here will go directly from this bin right to your doorstep. To put things in perspective, I have this basketball. You can see it easily fits inside this large pothole here on Walnut Street. The good news is you can hop on a bus just like this one for free and get to the game. So what you want to do is you want to take an upside down quarter just like this one and put it in your tire tread. You want to make sure that George Washington's head is covered. I'm going to take a step aside here to show you just how deep the water is. You can see this political campaign sign. The legs of it are almost completely underwater. This part of Leon Street is clear, but if you take a look at this side of the street, you'll notice it's still underwater. It's been over 48 hours since Highway 36 closed due to a fatal trailer crash. And according to Drive Texas, the highway won't be open until midnight tonight. Less than an hour before this 217-foot-long trailer crashed, Alan Wagner captured this video from his business on East Adams.
I did think to myself that the hinge points looked pretty weak compared to the rest of the apparatus.
At the time, Wagner was doing some work in his office, which faces the street.
It was pretty challenging, you know, to know that I filmed that vehicle passing here, and not even half an hour later, it killed someone, 2 people. According to Temple Police, the trailer's 350,000-pound load came off and pinned a car underneath on Saturday. The trailer was carrying a distillation column, which is used in the refinery process of oil and gas. 2 people inside the car died, and a third was transported to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. I just thought it was neat and cool to witness the machinery, but after the fact, and knowing that it killed people after the fact of seeing it, it's heartbreaking. Kristen Malsby saw the trailer before the accident too.
I was counting my blessings that it wasn't me, and that I was able to get off the highway, and that I took a different route to get to this business that day.
She says her heart goes out to the family now without their loved ones.
Nobody deserves to have to lose a family member in such a horrific and tragic way.
Temple Fire told us the trailer came from the Houston area and was headed somewhere out west. Anyone with information on this case should reach out to Temple Police or Bell County Crime Stoppers. In Temple, Alex Fulton, KWTX News 10. Early estimates showed that Lampasas would get anywhere from 50,000 to 100,000 people in town for the eclipse. It's too early to say, but city officials told me it doesn't look like that was the case. Regardless, it was a memorable day for all.
We're coming from the Seattle area.
We live in near Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Travelers from far and wide in Lampasas for the eclipse.
Oh, that's amazing!
4 minutes and 24 seconds visible around town, including the 580 Sports Complex.
We're coming from Australia, a place called Harvey Bay,
where the Bowens set up shop.
She wants to see a lot of cowboys.
Still hasn't seen a proper
it's
cowboy.
It's the movies. I'm waiting to see the cowboys with the boots and the hat, and I haven't seen much of that yet.
For many, Lampasas was a last-minute pick.
We were going to be a little bit west of Austin, where we were staying, but got up this morning and saw the cloud cover and got on the internet and started looking for where there might be some blue in the sky. So we drove north 70 miles, and here we are.
An unforgettable experience they didn't want to miss.
So it's just a fascinating natural phenomenon and reminds us of our place on Earth.
Down the street, 8-year-old Nikita Olson and her dad set up a lemonade stand for all of the thirsty tourists.
Location, location, location.
Well, I thought it would be a smart idea because there's going to be so many people passing down the street. It'll be good because so many people are going to be passing down the street.
Big money from the crowds helps the small town of just under 8,000.
We have what we call our, badge in the head fund. You know, when people go in and they buy a hotel room. Part of that directly goes and benefits our city when they go to Walmart, when they go to HEB.
While city officials rest now that the eclipse is over, tourists are already planning their next adventure.
And when we're 82 or 83, we'll do a third.
Any plans about where y'all are going so far yet?
For that one?
Yeah.
Canada.
It's still too early to say the economic impact the eclipse had on the city of Lampasas, but those numbers should be in here in the next few months. In Lampasas, Alex Fulton, KWTX News 10. When you try to enter a Temple ISD school, you won't be able to get through the front door.
If they're not there for a reason that makes sense, well, we have police officers, security personnel right there, and we can handle the situation.
Instead, you'll have to go into a room between the outer door and the interior of the building. Temple ISD Superintendent Dr. Bobby Ott says every school in his district got one of these vestibules installed this year.
We have to make sure that we provide the most safe place for our children and our staff if we expect learning and the things that we are charged to do to take place.
Last school year, a new law took effect allowing inspectors to check doors at Texas schools to make sure they're locked. It was something Dr. Ott had to adapt to the summer before they started.
For the exterior door audit, the very first thing we did was that summer, we had our maintenance team and our security team, SROs, police officers, we had them go to every building and check all the doors. And so we did find some malfunctions. That was the first thing you had to do, is you had to do an internal audit, and we found some. And thankfully we did, and we made those fixes.
These tests are called intruder detection audits and can happen at any point during the school year. Temple, Waco, and Chilton all confirmed they have been tested this year, and an intruder has never gotten in. To get a wider look, I requested the results from all audits conducted so far this school year. My request was forwarded along to the Attorney General's office, who is still reviewing the legality of releasing that information. We do know that last school year, the state got inside about 4% of schools that were tested. That's according to a report released from the Texas State University School Safety Center.
Anytime I'm on a campus, I'm checking stuff. I'm looking for stuff.
Even when she isn't getting tested, Suzanne Hamilton with Waco ISD makes sure to regularly check doors. It's actually another requirement of these intruder detection audits.
So each week, our campuses are required to check all of the doors to make sure that they're working, to make sure that they're shut, to make sure that there's nothing outside out that could be used as a prop.
Before the state visits a campus, district leaders will get a heads up on which schools will be tested at the beginning of the month.
And so they'll let us know, hey, these are the campuses. They don't tell us when they're coming. You know, in September, we're going to come visit Scott Elementary, Travis Science Academy, and Edwards Academy.
When they arrive, the TEA official is trying to figure out whether they can get inside the school.
The auditors come out and they're looking for the state mandated items, such as all exterior doors have to be locked. They are looking to make sure that they cannot gain entry in any way.
But what happens if they do gain entry?
If they're able to open one, then they will come in the building. But then they will go to the front office and check in, and an administrator, and then we'll then have a conversation.
According to Hamilton, these testers have proper ID and a clipboard, so they don't necessarily look like a real threat.
So they're not gonna like try to scale a fence or like knock on the window and try to get a kid to come around and answer the door.
Just like Temple ISD, Waco ISD has vestibules at every school to make sure an intruder can't enter.
All of the items that we've been talking about, those are just tools. It still comes back down to the humans that are inside the building, the adults and the kids working together to make sure that everyone's aware.
Vestibules that Chilton ISD Superintendent Dr. Brendan Hubbard says the state also examines through its tests.
Also, I think they check the entrance procedures, visitor procedures, making sure that there's a safe way for visitors to the campus to come in and are monitored.
A way to hopefully prevent another school shooting from happening.
I wish it weren't a topic that we had to talk about as it relates to school shootings and that sort of thing. But I think those audits make us aware of the shortcomings that we may have as it relates to security.
Our parents are trusting us with their children all day long, right, for 187 days plus a year. So we need to make sure that they are the safest environments as possible.
For Making the Grade, I'm Alex Fulton.